Hi, this is the Great Me, and this is my video about how to play a Fury Warrior. Okay, starting with the basics with spec. I use a 1952 0 spec, meaning 19 points in arms, 52 points in Fury, and 0 points in prod. A couple notables is the use of only 2 points in improved demo shout, because now that you don't have to use Curse of Recklessness, you no longer need to have all 5 points. Another notable thing to have is Intensify Rage, which decreases the cooldown on Death Wish, Recklessness, and pretty much all of your Enrage abilities. These are the rating conversions for all of our useful stats, so pretty much just memorize these and know them. With hit and expertise, I do not usually focus on the rating that I need to hit the caps. Instead, I simply focus on the actual value that I need. The reason why I say 5 to 6% for the yellow damage hit cap is because there's been a lot of research going on elitist jerks, and it's been questioned both ways whether or not it's 5 or 6% for the yellow damage hit cap, and I personally don't know. I roll with 6% just to be on the safe side. For enchants, you should be focusing on attaining the most attack power that you possibly can, except for on your boots, where you should be getting an Ice Walker enchant, and on your cloak, where you should be going for the agility enchant. As for your weapons, you should be using a Berserking main hand and Massacre offhand. For gems, your meta gem should be a Chaotic Skyflare Diamond, which is the 21 crit rating and 3% crit damage gem. For whenever you need the blue gem for that, you should be using a purple gem, which is the Sovereign Twilight Opal, or 8 strength, 12 stamina. For yellow gems, you should be using the orange gem, which is the Inscribed Monarch Topaz, which gives 8 strength and 8 crit. If you do not need a gem in order to achieve your meta socket, then you should be stacking strength by gemming for the Bold Scarlet Ruby, which is 16 strength. Now for the fun part. In lots of my videos, I've received comments asking what rotation I use, and I don't use a specific rotation. Instead, I simply prioritize my abilities, like you can see on the screen. What this means is that I am always making sure that Whirlwind and Bloodthirst stay on cooldown, and I will even save Rage if I have to, just so I can achieve this goal. Heroic Strike should only be used as a rage dump when you have more than 50 rage, and her instant slam should only be used while Whirlwind and Bloodthirst are on cooldown. But only do the instant slam if you know you will have enough rage to do the Whirlwind or Bloodthirst the second that they come off cooldown. The training dummy is going to be your new best friend when you are practicing these rotations. Be prepared to spend a ton of time in front of these target dummies, practicing your rotations and getting them down. If you are new to Fury, I would suggest when you start practicing your rotation to not use Heroic Strike or Instant Slam. Instead, only focus on using Bloodthirst and Whirlwind, because these are your two main damaging abilities, and your ability to keep them at cooldown at all times is going to make the most effect on your DPS. So practice this. As you can see, I'm not actually using the level 80 target dummies. Instead, I'm using the level 70 ones. This is because of a couple reasons. One, because there was a lot of people at the level 81 and I didn't want to get them in the video. And secondly, because you'll actually crit the level 71s more, giving you more rage and allowing you to just purely focus on doing your DPS rotation and not having to play the raid starvation game, because if you're not in a raid, you're going to get raid starved rather quickly. After you are confident you can keep Bloodthirst and Whirlwind on cooldown at pretty much all times, then you can start adding in the Instant Slam. But remember, do not let Bloodthirst and Whirlwind get off cooldown for any more than one global cooldown. If you accidentally hit the slam button while you do not have an instant slam buff up, simply just jump and cancel the cast, because while you are casting slam, it stops your swing timer, but it will not reset it like it used to. When you feel you're confident enough to start adding Heroic Strike, go ahead and do so, but remember, only use it as a rage dump, because you are not getting any rage from your main hand weapon whenever you use Heroic Strike. So be careful with it. Make sure you will always have enough rage to do your other abilities. Also, when you add in Heroic Strike, it will complicate the use of Slam a little bit more, simply because Heroic Strike can proc Blood Surge, meaning more instant slams, but still stick to using Bloodthirst and Whirlwind over instant slams, because they still will do more damage. And for those of you who have been paying close attention to my abilities that I've been using in this clip, I have a bad tendency of sometimes spamming Heroic Strike too much and then rage tapping myself, and therefore not being able to keep Bloodthirst and Whirlwind on cooldown at all times. Once you think you can do your DPS rotation without really thinking about it, then add in a little realism and then just start simply moving around while hitting the target dummy and doing your DPS rotation, because this will add a whole new level of skill that's required, because moving while doing your DPS rotation is, well, obviously much harder. So practice this. PvPing will also really help with this, but I was lazy when I was recording this, so I did not get any PvP clips, so you get the target dummy. Once the boss gets under 20%, your DPS hierarchy changes just slightly. Instead of using Heroic Strike and instant slams, you replace it with Execute. The reasoning behind this is because an Execute at 25 rage will do less damage than a Whirlwind, and an Execute at 30 rage will also do less damage than a Bloodthirst. So using them is still more damage than using Execute. Once they are on cooldown, however, go ahead and use Execute as your rage dump, but make sure you'll still have enough rage to use Bloodthirst and Whirlwind when they come off cooldown. This is actually not a very good clip to showcase what your DPS rotation under 20% is, simply because of the lack of rage generation due to the target being 3 levels higher than you and you not having raid buffs. Once you feel you have enough practice on the training dummies, get out into a raiding environment and see what you can do. A decent amount of this information was taken from the Elitist Jerks forum, so most of the credit goes to the geniuses who post on those forums, because they are much smarter than I am. I hope this video has been a help to you, and I hope that it makes you a better Fury Warrior. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video, or send me a message in-game or anything like that. Also, if you feel I have missed anything, please, again, let me know.